Because of how sensitive this particular issue is, and anybody who wants to talk about it has to be very careful in relation to saying the right thing, also in relation to saying it to the right set of people. Before I started the video, I had to pray, Jesus Christ, please let me say the right thing, or at least don't let me say things to the wrong people. Do you understand? Because I am as scared as almost everybody. I've realized that, a lot of people do not want to speak up and speak out as to this particular incident. When I'm talking about a lot of people, I'm talking about like the religious leaders and all that. Everyone is scared. Please, may they no talk, say I talk. And when you even look at the only person who talked at the end of the day, he deleted what he said. Atiku Abubakar, that is the former vice president of Nigeria and also a presidential aspirant, he said something in relation to it where he condemned, the killing and all that. And all of a sudden, some moments later, he deleted it and said that he wasn't the one who texted and all that. He didn't authorize it. And anytime you have to read his tweets, there will be AA at the back to show that he's the one. That is to show you how everyone is trying to be on the safe side, because nobody wants to have this particular incident happen to them or their family. Do you understand? And for those who do not know what incidents I'm talking about Deborah, a girl from Sokoto State College of Education, who was on a WhatsApp group. And because the WhatsApp group was created for academic purposes only, academic purposes means that you are supposed to send things like, oh, there is class tomorrow, or there is no class, there is test tomorrow, or there is no test, there is exam, or there, you understand those kind of discussions and past questions, and this is the material that the lecturer gave. Those are the things that you are supposed to be discussing on that particular group chat. But they were always posting religious things over and over and over again, and this got this girl very angry. And because of that, she then sent a voice note to the group chat where she said certain things. And listen to what she said.
Fire ba abun da zai faru da mu. Dole ne wasu abubuwan da ya kamata ku tura muna, ba wai an yi group din ga don ture abubuwan banza bane fa. An yi don pass you in akwai test, in an bada assignment a tura, ba wai abubuwan banzan ga za ku tura muna ba. Manzon Allah din me an buro ba.
Now I know that this is Hausa. Even me myself, I do not understand Hausa, so I had to tell some of my Hausa friends and all that, can you please translate what she has said? And even went online to see if it's the same thing, and I realized that it's the same thing. So this is the translation. Now, you can see that, yes, she was trying to pass a message as to the fact that you should not send religious things to the group chat, which has no problem. Do you understand? However, at the end where she said rubbish prophet, I believe that was where she crossed the line. Do you understand that? And this teaches us, before we go straight into what we are to talk about today, this teaches us a lesson. It tells us that where you are to pass a message, your message, even where it is good, is as important as the way you pass it. The delivery is as important as the message itself. If the message is good but the delivery is bad, it will taint the message. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you should very importantly note that not only should you pass the right message, you should pass it in the right way. But regardless of this, regardless of the fact that she has passed the message, although in a way that is wrong, certain other people went to her place or wherever she was at that point, dragged her out, stoned her, and burnt her into a crisp, burnt her to death. And this has caused a lot of uproar amongst a lot of people. Some people saying that, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, it is very right. Some people saying, oh, no, Islam did not say this. Some said, yes, Islam said it. I even had a friend of mine who, responding to my status on WhatsApp, said yes, and he even went further to say that if it's my parents who blaspheme the prophet, Islam has given me the right to even kill my parents. That is the extent at which certain people have interpreted, so to say, what Islam is saying. And I, not being a Muslim, cannot interpret what Islam is saying. I can only tell you the law. Why? Because different people would have different opinion in relation to Islam. There are certain peaceful Muslims who will tell you, no, Islam never said that. There are certain people who would be tagged as extremists. And those people will tell you, oh yes, Islam said take laws into your hands and kill people when they blaspheme the prophet. However, what does the law say? That is what we are to talk about today. Is blasphemy a crime? I can't speak as to whether blasphemy is a sin because I'm not a Muslim. I can only give you perspective. But I can speak as to whether blasphemy is a crime because that is what the law should be, or what the law has told us. So is blasphemy a crime? And according to this incident that has happened so far, what are the 4 lessons that we can learn from this incident? What are the things that we should have at the back of our minds which this incident has taught us? And that is the aim of this video. Now, when I was discussing with some of my friends, I told them that I was going to talk about my personal opinion in relation to this Islam whole thing. And they're like, Yeko, personal opinion to what? Now, if you have gone on Twitter, you see that a lot of people are beginning to question whether or not Islam is actually a religion of peace. Because according to them, which while coming from the perspective of the extremists, if Islam, so to say, authorizes you to stone a person to death and burn the person, that would not be said to be a religion of peace, so to say. So I said I wanted to speak on something like that. And you were like, dear ko, do you want your head to remain on your body? And I was like, what do you mean? I want to talk to, people in relation to that. And they were like, no, don't say it. And they almost forced me to sign an undertaking and all that. But I still would like to give an opinion, even if it's a line or two, at the end of this video as to Islam being a religion of peace or not. So make sure that you stick to the end. This video promises to be a very interesting video and very educative. There are so many things that we'll talk about that will give you expositions that I don't think you've had previously, and if you've had, reinforces those expositions. So make sure that you watch the video to the end. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of this video, that is the chunk of the video, this is Olayeni Dear Kolola Daniels, popularly known as Dieko Spectre, and welcome to another episode of Dieko Talks Law. If this is your first time of coming to my channel, then I want to say a very big welcome. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Please make sure that you click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that anytime I release any video which is going to be of interest to you like this one, you'll be one of the first set of people to watch that particular video. And also don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn at Dear Kolola Daniels. Thank you so much. So going straight into the nitty-gritty of this video, our first question is whether blasphemy is a crime, and I want to go straight to the point. Let us leave the north alone. Let us just stay in the south, the east, and any other part of Nigeria. Is blasphemy a crime? Yes, it is, because the question then becomes, what would be blasphemy? Where you insult or try to demean a religion, then you are going to be committing a crime. But what is my authority for this? My authority is section 204 of the Criminal Code. And what does section 204 of the Criminal Code say? Let's read the law. Section 204 of the Criminal Code tells us that any person who does an act which any class of person considers as a public insult on their religion, with the intention that they should consider the act such an insult, and any person who does an unlawful act with the knowledge that any class of persons will consider it such an insult, is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 2 years. So you would see that a lot of times a lot of Christians or other people would actually even be insulting certain religion. Their God has no hand, their God has no leg, their God cannot do anything, they are worshiping idols. All those things is a crime. But the only thing is, we wouldn't know that section 204 even exists, because all those other religions, they really do not care. they really wouldn't even say anything. You know, you will see where they are doing oro. You know what oro is now? Where, you know, they will carry a god in the night. They will have given an announcement and nobody should walk late. Oh, from the hours of this time to this time, don't walk, because if the oro should see you, they would kill you and all that. You must not foju kon oro. That means your eyes must not see the gods. Yeah, people will come out and say, no, that is unconstitutional. That is kinika. Their religion is barbaric. And all that. The way you insult that particular religion might land you in prison. But like I said, the religion doesn't really care, so to say. But I want you to know that you shouldn't insult a religion. Now, when we take it a step further out of the normal south, east, west and all that, to practice the criminal code, let's go to the north, where they actually practice the Sharia. And when you get to the north, they have a lot of opinions. Some people will tell you that blasphemy is not a sin and is not a crime. Other people will tell you that blasphemy is a sin and is a crime. Now, in relation to this confusion, where I then become very confused, let me show you two videos. The first one is this.
Islam prescribes death for somebody who commits blasphemy against Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him. Is that true? Let's see.
No, it's not true. Islam condemns blasphemy, but there is not a single verse in the Holy Quran that teaches Muslims to punish someone just because he insulted the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Quran teaches us that all prophets were mocked at. It says, and there came not to them a messenger, but they mocked at him. The Quran mentions that the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was insulted, but it does not say, punish those people. Rather, Allah said to him, and overlook their annoying talk, and put your trust in Allah. The Muslims are taught in the Holy Quran that if they hear people mocking the signs of God, then they should leave their company and not sit with them until they change the topic. The Quran does not teach to punish them. If we look at the life of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, we see that he forgave his worst enemies, even those who had hurt him and insulted him. The Quran mentions the incident of Abdullah bin Ubay, a man who said that he is the most high and the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the most wretched. This was such a great insult that the son of Abdullah came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and asked permission to kill his father because he felt so insulted at what he had said. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not allow it. And Abdullah lived his life in peace until he passed away in the city of Medina. In fact, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, led his funeral prayer. This was how the Prophet himself treated those who insulted him.
Okay, so if Islam does not allow any Muslims to punish anyone who commits blasphemy against Islam or the Prophet of Islam, why is it that so many Muslims believe that blasphemy is punishable by death?
Because some so-called Muslim scholars exploit the issue of blasphemy to control the masses who may not have adequate knowledge of Islam.
Now, can you see? Is this the same prophets that they are all saying that commanded to kill? Because according to what we can see here, they even did it to him and he did not do anything. Like, do you get? They did it to him, he didn't do anything. Now let us look at the second video. This second video is by a YouTuber, Adeola Fayehun, who gave us certain things that has been going on in the north, so to say. And I really just want to take that excerpt from her video. You can follow her on YouTube as well. She's a very awesome YouTuber, has a lot of videos that you can learn from. But let us look at the excerpt of her video.
In March of last year, a man was beaten and tortured to death in Bauchi State for allegedly insulting the Prophet. In 2020, a Muslim gospel singer, was accused of blasphemy after singing a song that allegedly praised an imam above the Prophet. And so they wanted to kill him, but because he escaped, they burned down his father's house. In 2016, a mob killed 8 people. They killed Christians and Muslims by burning down the house of a Muslim man because he intervened in the attempted lynching of a Christian student that was accused of blasphemy. I'm giving you these examples for you to know that people from both religions are being killed by extremists. In June of 2016, a Deeper Life pastor's wife who owned a shop in Kano State told a Muslim man that kept praying in front of her shop to move elsewhere because she had customer. And she had told him several times, "This is my shop. Please go elsewhere to pray." But guess what? She was accused of blasphemy and she was killed by a mob in Kano. And on August 9 of 2008, a Muslim mob in Kano beat up a 50-year-old Muslim man to death. They accused him of blasphemy. And still in Kano, 2007, a Muslim mob killed 9 Christians. They burned down several churches and destroyed homes as well as businesses of some non-Muslims because a Christian student had drawn a picture of the Prophet. Also in 2007, on the 21st of March, a mob of Muslim students and neighborhood extremists beat up a woman by the name Christiana Oluwatoyin. She was a teacher at government secondary school in Gombe. They beat this woman to death for allegedly touching a bag that allegedly contained a Quran. She didn't even know if there was a Quran in the bag or not. How was she supposed to know the content of the bag? They said that she desecrated the Quran. And just like that, she was executed. There was no room for her to even say her side of the stories. No. A teacher in Bauchi State, that is Florence Chukwu, confiscated a copy of the Quran from a student who was reading the Quran during an English lesson. She was the teacher, she wanted the students to concentrate, and she took what was distracting the student. In this case, it happened to be the Quran. And because of that, a riot started, and they killed more than 20 Christians. And of course, they destroyed 2 churches. How does this make sense?
Now, can you see? When I watched that part, I didn't even know what to say. Because out of all these cases, the one that caught me, that even, this one is plenty, is where you have a woman owns a shop, and in front of her shop, you are praying. And she said, "This place belongs to me. Can you kindly move like this so that my customers can come to meet me?" Bam, you kill them. Now, in relation to this, I cannot even give anything because I'm not a Muslim. And if these people have so much contrasting views and conflicting views, what would me have? Therefore, I can't speak as whether it is, but whether it's a crime, that is what I can speak on. And you see, while speaking on whether it's a crime, we then go to our 4 lessons that we can learn from this case. Are you listening? Now, I am also going to give you 2 cases. The first case is the case of Usman Kaza versus the state. And the second case is the case of Danshala versus the state. Abubakar Danshala versus the state. Now, these 2 cases are very, very interesting because they have a lot of wealth of knowledge which we can learn from. And most importantly, they are the authority for these incidents. Authority means they are the things we can rely on to know whether or not what has been done to Deborah is a wrong or a right thing. So let us start with our first lesson that we can learn from the incidents. And our first lesson is the fact that yes, blasphemy is a crime. But don't take my words for it. Take the words of Justice Muhammad Tanko, the Justice of the Supreme Court. He said that in the case of Abubakar Danshala versus the state, in fact, I would like to read to you the excerpt from his judgment, what he said itself. It is very, very important for those people who do not think that blasphemy is a crime. Yes, it is. However, there are actually certain things that must be done before the person is put to death. And that is what we are going to be reading from Muhammad Tanko's judgment. And this is it. Now, in the case of Abubakar Danshala versus the state, a 2007 case, the Supreme Court Justice said that the tried position of law under the Sharia is that any sane and adult Muslim who insults, defames, or utters words or acts which are capable of bringing into disrepute, odium, contempt the holy person of Holy Prophet Muhammad SAW, such a person has committed a serious crime which is punishable by death. Now, you can see, no be me talk am. We are not even looking at the two sides, the peaceful Muslim and the, so to say, extremist Muslim. We are not looking at those sides. We are looking at what? The law. And what did he say? He said that where you say certain things, and I want you to look at what he said. He said, when you use words or acts, do not forget that when we read the criminal code only said acts. The criminal code never said words. The criminal code, where you do an act which insults, share you get this law which Justice Stanko is telling us is that you must have said some things or you must have done some things, words and act. The criminal code only tells us act, but let us leave that aside. When you say certain things or do certain things that seems to defame, to insult, or to live in disrepute, contempt. Now the prophets of Islam, that is when you have committed blasphemy, and what? You are going to be punished by death. So you can see our lesson 1 is blasphemy a crime? Yes, it is. Danshala versus the state. Our lesson 2 here is, which kind of person can commit this crime? When I mean which kind, must that person be a Muslim, or can a Christian be guilty of blasphemy? Let us go back to what this judge said. Now, if you read the first line, the judge said that the right position of law under Sharia is that any sane and adult Muslim. Now, you see, when they said sane and adult Muslim, he didn't say any sane and adult person. If it was person, regardless of the fact that you are a Muslim, sure you get. But now it is any sane and adult Muslim, which means that a Christian cannot be guilty of blasphemy. That is what it means if you interpret the law. A Christian cannot be guilty of blasphemy. For you to be guilty, you must be a sane adult Muslim. Are you listening? Now let's put it in the context of this story. Deborah is a Christian. So ordinarily, Deborah is not supposed to be subject to the Sharia law. The only person to be subject to the Sharia law is to be a Muslim. And now Deborah is dead. So which means if this were to be taken to the courts, we are only to apply the provisions of section 204 on Deborah, not the Sharia law. And if we are to apply the provisions of section 204 on Deborah, it is more likely that she would even be acquitted instead of convicted. Why would she be acquitted and let go? Because Deborah did not make an act in relation to this thing, which is insulting a religion. Deborah said, and I told you that except the act is interpreted in a wide sense, not in the restrictive sense of carrying out an overt act, in the wide sense of including a statement, which is less likely to be interpreted as such, then Deborah is more likely to be set free by the courts. Do you understand that? So our second lesson as to who can be convicted for blasphemy, which our first lesson already tells us is a crime, is an adult Muslim and not a Christian or any other person from any other religion, even an atheist. Now let us go to the third element. When you are looking at the requirements before somebody can be killed, so to say, for blasphemy, because blasphemy is punishable by death. What are the things? Muhammad Thanko said the person must be sane. The person must be an adult. And also, the person must be such that he's not an imbecile or someone suffering from mental delusions of any kind. And it is only a court that can certify that, which is our lesson number 4. Lesson number 3 and lesson number 4, they are intertwined. Our lesson number 4 tells us that it is only the appropriate legal authority that can sentence a person to death. I did not say it. Justice Mohammed Tanko, the Supreme Court Justice, was the one who said it in this same case of Abubakar Danshala versus the states. Let us read what he said one more time. He said, however, as observed by the court below, Islamic law has not left the killing open in the hands of private individuals. The offense alleged has to be established through evidence before a court. The court itself will have to employ its professional dexterity in treating the case by allowing fair hearing and excluding all the inadmissible evidence or those persons who will fall within the general exemption clause, such as infants, imbecile, or those who suffer mental delusion. Thus, the killing is controlled and sanctioned by the authority. You see this line? This is the most important. The killing is controlled and sanctioned by the authority. The law will thus have set a dangerous precedence if private individuals were authorized to take laws into their hands, as the appellant and others did in this case. Look at the last sentence. Sharia guarantees and values the sanctity and dignity of human life. That is why it outlaws unlawful killing of human life. As I have told you, this is not me. This is who? Justice Muhammad Tanko, reading the law to us, telling us that a person can only be killed in relation to blasphemy by the authorities, and that person must be such that he is not an infant, is not an imbecile. There has to be given fair hearing, is not suffering from mental delusion, and also all other evidentiary issues are solved by the court of law. So now this is the point where we now interpret what he has said in relation to these killings. And can you see that they are wrong in every way? If you have had the opinion that they were right, I think that not only should you change your perspective, you should issue a public apology to those people who you have said that they were right to have done that act to, because you just misled the public. Do you understand that? The court has told us that in cases like this, they are wrong. Now, very importantly, I told you that there are two cases to discuss. Our first case here is Abubakar Danshala and the state. The second case is Usman Kaza versus the state. You see, I want to even tell you the fact of this case because it's almost similar to this Deborah's case. What is the fact of the case? Now, there was somebody who blasphemed. Now, I cannot say if that person blasphemed. I don't even know what that person did. But the fact is that those people who killed him said that he blasphemed. They left their states because of this so-called blasphemy. They came all the way down to the state. I think it was Kebbi State. They left their state or village, came all the way down to this place just to kill the person. But before they killed the person, they carried the person to, I think, a forest or so. But they went to meet the village head and then told the village head that they must kill this person because the person has blasphemed, against their religion. And then the village head said, let us look at the Quran. The Quran has told us that yes, even though you should kill, it has to be the appropriate authorities. But the people said no. They took laws into their hands, went to the place where they kept him and killed him. When they were arrested, they went to court. They prepared a defense for themselves. Guess what their defense was? Provocation. They said that they were provoked. You see, provocation is a good defense. However, it is a defense that can only be invoked when you did an act where a person does a thing to you immediately. So if I am currently standing beside a Muslim and I utter words that I'm not supposed to utter, are you listening? The Muslim heard it and immediately he became provoked and killed me or something. That is valid provocation. Why? Because he acted in the heat of the moment. The heat of the moment where he heard it. Now you talk up, gave me dagger straight up. Sure you get. Now you left your state or your village. You came all the way down to this place. The provocation no cool down. You even kept him. You went to meet the village chief. The provocation still no cool down. When you went to meet the village chief told you the provocation still no until you kill him. They now wanted to bring up something known as continuous provocation, which means that because he had altered it, the court just dismissed all of it. The thing is, under the law, normally when you kill, you are to be killed. But when you raise the defense of provocation, you won't be exonerated totally, but they will not kill you. They will put you in prison for life imprisonment. And that was what they were trying to do. And then the court said, I no agree. You don't keep a person, they must kill you and sentence them to death. You see, the thing that was funny to me is the fact that after he was sentenced, the person had the guts to appeal. He appealed not just to the Court of Appeal, he appealed to the Supreme Court. Such hypocrisy. Oh, so you know rule of law. Oh, so you want to be given a right to be heard. Oh, so you don't want your life to be taken away from you. I thought you were obeying the Quran now, and then you killed some. Hey, go and meet the God that you killed somebody for. Abi, you killed somebody now, Abi, and you killed him for God, Abi, your God that you are serving, which nobody has. But now that the court has sentenced you, go meet them now. Why you can't they appeal the case? Why are you such an hypocrite? Oh, now you want to follow due process and appeal the case to you don't want them to kill you, because constitutionally, when a judgment has been given, if you don't appeal in 90 days, then you can execute the judgment. So that appeal must have been made in 90 days to make sure that you don't execute the judgment until that higher court has listened to that case. So you no one die now, you they appeal. When they got to the Supreme Court, guess who was the person who read the lead judgment? Jesus Christ, Muhammad Tanko, the judge, the one that gave the 2007 judgment. Yes, he was the one that read the lead judgment in this recent case of Usman Kaza. And when he read it, when I was reading through what he said, it was, even Muhammad Tanko was very angry. You can literally, hear his anger from what he was saying. This is what Muhammad Tanko said. He said, I cannot see how these kinds of people shall have any respite by the law. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Life is precious to all and sundry. He who kills by the sword shall die by the sword. This is it. I have no sympathy for the banishment of such busybodies who respect no human life due to their high degree of misapprehension of the law, or should I say complete ignorance of the law. You can see that he's saying that I don't even have sympathy for you at all. He said that the appellant failed to convince me through his explanations. But this is the part that made me laugh. But he is free to make further and better explanation to the hangman, though belated it may be. This is so funny. You know why? Muhammad Tanko is saying, you see me, you see this explanation of provocation that you are explaining to me. Me, I did not see any reason and logic in what you are saying. But you see the person will go hang you. Go meet him. Explain to him. If he late, late, don't be my business. You can explain and give this your excuse to who? To the hangman. Can you see? This is the law. This is the law. And now, you see, the thing that pains me the most is that some religious leaders actually even encourage this particular violence. Do you know that when this Deborah's killing happened, one chief imam in Abuja even said something that I just had to shake my head for? Look at what he said. He said that it should be known to everyone that we the Muslims have some red lines beyond which must not be crossed. The dignity of the Prophet is at the forefront of red lines. If our grievances are not properly addressed, then we should not be criticized for addressing them ourselves. And then it then begs the question, when did you go to the police that the police did not address your grievances? When? At least you should have arrested Deborah, taken her to the prison or police cell, anything. Let the law take its course. Why would you be telling people this kind of thing? And you know that you are talking to people who are easily provoked, who are intolerant. How will you say this kind of thing? It is uncalled for. Do you understand what I'm saying? But, well, at the end of the day, this is the law. I have gone through the law for you, the 4 lessons that we can learn from this video, the criminal code, the Sharia, in relation to the judgment in Danshala and the state, and also Usman Kaza and the state. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also click the notification bell so that anytime I release a video, you'll be one of the first set of people to watch that video. And to my personal opinion as to whether or not Islam is a religion of peace. Now, I want us to look at certain experience. Who be that? Oh God, you know, tell me say they come today now. Yes, yeah. So apparently, he heard that I was going to speak at the end of the day, and now he's here and he wants to stop me from speaking. No, now those ones are in the north now. These ones, they will not remove my head. Oh, they are everywhere. Oh, these ones are. See, he said I'm not talking, so I will see you guys in my next video. Have a very wonderful day.